Welcome back, Point Three people, to another exciting episode of the Point Three podcast. We are excited to have you here once again to discuss the latest happenings in the world of superheroes. This time in this episode, we're stepping away from the MCU and DCU into the Amazon Prime world, and we are going to be reviewing Invincible Season 2, Episode 1, Part 1. And just a quick heads up, we won't be holding back on spoilers, so consider this your official spoiler warning. Go check us out anywhere where you listen to your podcasts. We're going to be dropping this episode and more. It is a massive week, but listen, we're going to jump right into it. Hero Scroll, Invincible, what worked for you for this first episode of the series?
I just want to say really quick, Invincible's back.
Yes.
That's exciting, man. It's been like, what, 2 years almost since we got it?
2021, yeah.
It's been too long. But anyways, what worked? Invincible worked. This whole episode really did a lot of what I wanted it to. And the main thing is exploring the fallout of Omni-Man. And I love that it wasn't just for Mark. I think they could have done just Mark's fallout with that, and it would have done a very good job. But they did a good job at the world of how the world really affected it. And not only in our dimension, but how that affects other dimensions as well. How this particular event really radiates through time and space, you know? I loved it. I'm so interested to see where this goes for Mark, to see him continuing to grow as a hero, and really just how crazy this multiverse stuff is going to get.
100%. Spider-Brando, I know we had some similar things. And for me, what really worked was that opening. What did you think of when the episode first started?
I was confused. I was watching with a friend, and he straight up asked me. He asked me if we were watching the right show or not, and I was like, "Yes, this is season 2." Episode had me at the edge of my seat the entire time, especially the amount of times they said Invincible without pulling the title card out. I had my phone camera open the entire time, just waiting for it to freaking. Every time they said Invincible, I needed a picture of the title card just for the stories. But that was cool. There's a lot of good things in that episode, building off of what Hero said about seeing the fallout of the Omni-Man betrayal. One thing that stuck out to me was Mark's mom, Debbie, having to deal with it, and her having a whole breakdown about what it's been like to just been a pet for 20 years. That hit me pretty hard. So, Mark, post Omni-Man wife as well, gave me some Peter Parker post No Way or post Mysterio leak Far From Home ending, and it was cool to see that type of dynamic in like a different universe.
Small thing that we didn't talk about in our preview episode of who we are looking forward to, and I don't know why I omitted this, but the Maulers. Oh, the Mauler twins, like they always add a really fun dynamic to the story, and literally every time they show up, chaos is always going to follow and ensue. Like something massive is going to happen, and something massive happened again in this. But listen, this show, name another animated adult series where you can get the fallout that feels like the end of Avengers 1 or Infinity War fallout, where you're just like, man, the world is never going to be the same. And it wasn't over the top by any means, but the way that they showcased it through Mark, because it is a good thing when he gets into that warehouse and the Maulers are there, and then they show up from the other, multiverses, and they just are like literally killing him. And it's just like, I thought you were invincible. He's just like, I care, but I don't care. But it's just like, I just don't know. Like he has to find a brand new identity all over again and discover like who he is and who he wants to be. And we mentioned that in the preview. I am so curious to find out what happens, because again, I am just animation only on this one. I have no clue what's going to happen in this one, but if he finds out that there are other marks and there are other, like, what happens if he finds out there's a good Omni-Man? Like, is that going to be like, I need to talk to you. I need to go to your Earth so that I can get guidance because I lost my dad. I need you to fill that void.
And what would be equally as devastating is because it really feels like they're setting up a fight between our Mark and the Invincible of the other world, the very evil one. How devastating it would be for him to see that Invincible's relationship with Omni-Man. How they're very much friends. How they were like, they're just murdering people, and they're like, "Dang, are you hungry, bro?" He's like, "Yeah, I kind of am. Let's go eat after this." And they're like, "Yeah, let's go eat, son."
Yeah.
And it's crazy how devastating that would be to Mark to see that and really experience that he still loves his father at the end of the day. To then see like, well, maybe should I have joined him? Was he right?
Yeah, I think from the Immortals and Guardians of the Globe and Cecil's standpoint, are they going to push him away enough? And I think the straw that could break the camel's back is, his girlfriend or his mom. I think a very wild dynamic. It just popped in my head when you said that. What if our Mark goes Omni-Man on that Mark? And you get him everything that he did that happened to him when Omni-Man beat him down, he ends up doing to the other Mark. And we get like a Mark on Mark subway scene.
Dude.
That would be amazing.
Oh,
take my money right
dude,
now.
I would go crazy if that happened.
Take my money right now.
I would go, yeah.
Let's get one.
Listen, I'm telling you, I have not spoiled myself on this. I'm saying true.
Same.
These are legitimate thoughts that popped into my head. Real quick though, one thing that didn't work for me, and it's kind of nitpicky, is I would have liked to have personally seen a little more Adam Eve, especially on the heels of her special.
I have that in my notes as well. That I think that's really the only big thing wrong with this episode. Like, we get her at the beginning in the other multiverse's counterpart, and who that was incredibly dark. And then we get her in that one scene with Mark. So I really wanted more. I thought they were going to really start setting her up a little more.
Yeah, you could argue the special made that small scene that she had in that alternate Earth that much harsher, seeing the way she is, and you're just like, oh man, it must be bad. This is kind of giving me like Dragon Ball Super, like Trunks vibes with like Zamasu and all them, kind of in a way.
Yeah. All right. One quick question: is this the best multiverse setup so far out of all the superhero multiverse setups? Because we're at a time right now where that's the hot thing in superhero. Yeah. But obviously this is part of Invincible's storyline. But is this the one to do it best so far?
It's hard to tell because it's one episode in, but the beginning or the description / explanation that Levi gave of the multiverse is probably the best we've seen. Like, explained how multiverse should work throughout media so far. Everything else has just been like, Marvel is just like, we don't even know what's going on. We got Keaton's Batman explaining it's just spaghetti.
Yeah.
Spaghetti. And then Rick and Morty's does it pretty good. That just randomly pops into my head.
But here's the difference real quick that I'll say to that point. Rick and Morty, although it went multiversal and you had the Council of Ricks and you had a really expansive universe, even solo episodes that are like, oh my gosh, a petri dish is its own universe. They still make the story feel like a story and your main characters don't get lost. That's the strength of what this did here, is not only is Mark still a focal point in every Earth, but you have Levy, who ultimately is like, Invincible, like, I'm going to end you. No matter what it is, like, Invincible finds a way to be his kryptonite, if you will, and someone that he has to target and has to eliminate. And although it's multiversal, it still feels like there's a good through line in this story that you can grasp onto and that can ground it to make it really, really successful, probably throughout the entire show.
Very well said.
Thanks, Chance. I'm excited for the next episode, though.
I was gonna say I can't wait.
Friday.
It's taking all of me to not buy the compendiums and just read through this, because I just want the story, man. I want more of it.
Close her up.
Well, I will say before we close her up, this episode came out at like 11:30 on Thursday night, just as a heads up. I didn't even have to wait till that 12 a.m. time on Friday. So, for those people that like watching late night shows or watching it as soon as it comes out, episode 2 may be out at 11:30 on Thursday. You could get that double Loki feature if you're watching a Loki. But thanks everyone for tuning into this episode from the Point 3 podcast. Don't forget to join us on Wednesdays at 9:05 Eastern Time for our YouTube live streams. We'll be discussing the latest news, reviews, and insider scoops. Also catch the full episode of our podcast anywhere you listen. If you're watching Invincible this week, let us know on socials or in the comments of what you thought of the episode. And until then, keep watching, keep reading, keep nerding out.